Good evening. Have an injury update for you guys. Brisker has a right hand injury, no timetable to return on him. So today we had our practice today, and a lot of situations in practice. You guys could see that we started in the red zone, the high red zone there, the fringe area. That was really good, ones against ones. We were only in shells today, and then twos also went, then we also had an opportunity because you don't really get this in pro football a lot, but we had 3 lines out there. So we had 3 whole lines, so that was pretty cool that we got 3 groups in there. So we did that, and then we just moved down to the 25, then did another series from the 15. So just working on the scoring zone there, so I thought the guys did a good job there. And then we flipped it around, had a 2-minute drive at the end where we needed a field goal. That was excellent. We only had 1 timeout. That was really good. We used it. And, those situations are hard, when you're in those situations to get that extra 5 yards to kick the field goal. So that was good. And then we ended with end-of-game stuff, the very last plays. That's an important part for what we want to get done in the practice. So it was good. We were excited about that. And then one more update. So obviously Roquan was out there today, and we were super excited about that with him. He's did individual today. He's in a ramp-up phase to get back to action. All along, he's been conditioning with the strength staff on the side, and he's doing good there. So now we're just ramping him up to play football. And, there's a process to that, and we're in that process right now. Really, for us, we're not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything about contract stuff as I haven't all along. That's between Ryan and Roquan. And it's my expectation you'll have an opportunity to speak to him shortly here. So that's it.
How did you get from him not practicing to him starting this ramp-up program?
Yeah, it's just everybody encompassing, me, him, strength and conditioning, everybody working to that, getting them ramped up, to get them into action. So that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, but why? I mean, he was not practicing for weeks, and now you've reached a point where he's going to practice for you.
Yeah, so he's ramping up to play. He's ramping up to get ready to go.
Full expectation for him is we'll play in week 1.
Yeah, I mean, we're ramping him up, so we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes from there, and it's my expectation that we're going to get everybody ready to go, and we'll see where it goes.
Could he be ready to go? Could he be ready to start by week 1? Do you think he could be?
That's a hypothetical, so we'll take it day by day, but there's certainly plenty enough time to get that done.
Matt, when did he indicate to you that he would indeed practice?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. That's a conversation between me and him, so and everybody else. So we're getting ramped up, getting them ready to go.
Why not get into that?
Because it's a conversation between me and him. You can ask him about it. Yeah.
You consider him disgruntled? Is he happy?
No,
Does it matter
not
to
at
you
all.
that he's happy?
No, he's been engaged. He's been in the meetings, thoroughly there, mentally there. Asking questions in meetings, helping the younger players when he's been out. So he's been doing all that. He's been a pro that way for sure.
Going into practice games and everything, you've no concern that you've got an unhappy player, a player who's unhappy on his contract, or just an
No.
unhappy player on your team?
No.
With Brisker,
Yeah.
I know you said there's no timetable to return. The season opener's 3 weeks from tomorrow. Is that in jeopardy?
Yeah, we're hopeful. We're hopeful that he'll be back. We'll find out here shortly. So we're hopeful.
Was that injury from the Chiefs game?
It was a situation where he just woke. Sometimes you wake up with these hand injuries, and it shows up. It feels like he just kind of tweaked it a little bit, and all of a sudden the next day there it is. So it was one of those deals.
Does that impact you at all in terms of how you handle the Browns game coming up this week? To have an injury that's to a high-profile starter?
I don't think so. We'll just plug and play like we always do, and I don't think that'll affect it one way or the other.
You guys
Yeah,
were
it's
so.
a little bit of a relief to just be able to talk about football when it comes to Roquan now and put the other stuff aside and just focus all on football.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty much always been football. So I was never in with the contract situations. Every conversation I had with Roquan was always about football. So for me, it's not going to change a bunch. So Yeah, I'm happy he's back. I'm happy he's excited to be back. I'm happy that he's back in the individual. I'm happy that he's ramping up and getting ready to go. I'm certainly happy for that. He's one of our best players, so, we're excited about that.
What do you think of the Kyrus Tonga pick six?
Yeah, that happens. That happens sometimes. Yep. And it has happened, trust me. And I thought our guys did a good job blocking. So on those interceptions, we turn them into returns, like a punt return. So everybody has a job to do. So when you want to score on defense, you have to have it orchestrated. So the guys did an outstanding job of orchestrating that return and it was instantaneous reaction. So there was no hesitation. Everybody went to their job. We all got blocks, stayed on our blocks, and he returned it all the way.
I'm just curious what that transition's been like for you. You've been a decent defensive guy your whole life, right? How do you kind of not be like, oh yeah, and like also think about the offensive side of it when the defense?
No, I think it's fun because I get to cheer for whoever's winning. So if the offense is winning, I cheer for them. If the defense is winning, I cheer for them. So it's pretty easy. I'm always on the right side.
What would you say is the state of your defense after 2 preseason games, and how much does Roquan being entered into the equation factor in? How much of a
Yeah, I would just say this: it's really the state of the team. We're work in progress. We are work in progress. We got a lot of things to work on, unit to unit, position to position. We had a lot of stuff to work on. I mean, there's a lot of things, but we feel good about where we are. We're playing clean football right now. We're playing aggressive. We're doing some good things too. So I'd say we're right where we expected to be right at this point.
But does Roquan being back, does that change anything for you? Does that allow you to do things, call things, allow Alan Williams to call?
I think it'll probably change some things, and here's what it is, because when you have foundational floor, okay, things that you can control, so what is that? Well, that's what our principles are, playing hard, great intensity, taking care of the ball, all that, and being smart. That's what we stand on, okay? And then when you add talent to that formula, the buoy starts to go up, starts to rise like that. You see what I'm saying? So then your team becomes better. So as you add talent through player acquisition, players coming back from contract talks, draft picks, that's what happens to your football team. Because you control the controllables, adding talent, all of a sudden it starts to spark and get better.
Matt, during this time away for Roquan, were you satisfied with the communication that you were able to have with him? And was it important that he did come to you and tell you his intentions today?
The communicate just generally, the communication between him has been great. We've been in communication, like I said, not quite daily, but it's been frequently, and it's always been positive. It's always been man to man, face to face, eye to eye. It's always been great communication.
Surprised you at all, because you didn't know Roquan before this year, that some guys could take the other route and maybe shut things off between the communication. So has that been?
No, I've been able to communicate with a lot of different players over the course of my career. So that to me is it's been pretty easy. Because I'm very honest. I'm up front. I put everything on the table, and I let the men speak plainly to me. And then it's pretty basic that way.
Do you view Tevin Jenkins as the guy to beat now at right guard? Has he impressed you that much?
He did a good job in the game. He played a solid game. You think about that for a second. Coming in there for a couple days and then starting in there and then and playing, we were impressed. He did a nice job. Now he's got to continue to grow at the position, and he has, like everybody else on the team, he's got a lot to work on. But he had a good first outing in there.
Is he the leader today? There's 3 weeks left, but is he the
Yeah,
leader?
There's a lot of things that can happen. Like we said, we're changing combinations, adjusting combinations. As you have seen over the course of training camp, a lot of things have changed, right? There's a lot of adjustment going on. So it's about guys that can sustain the performance, that can sustain execution, and then take that to the first week. So we'll let that play out and see where it is.
Well, how much is that? Do you view that as a success story for your staff here, the Tevin Jenkins situation, where you went from a guy that maybe didn't have a spot to his approach to playing right guard and your staff's development of him at right guard? How would you characterize the effort on both sides to make this work?
Yeah, I would say anytime a player does well, it's always the player first, okay? And then it was the coach that was of service to him that helped him do it, to help him develop. Because the player has to make his mind up with the coaching, and that's why we brought these great coaches in here. Morgan's a really good coach, and that's what we did. And that's our job. Our job is to develop everybody on the roster and make them rise as far as we can get them. And that's our job as coaches.
And you have 3 weeks left before the regular season and one preseason game. Do you think your starters need to play in that last preseason game?
Yeah, we're still working through that. We're still talking about that. We had a conversation, one conversation so far about it, and we'll continue to work through that. We're not ready to make that proclamation yet of what's going to happen in that game yet. I don't know. Maybe this way, maybe that way. I don't know, but we'll see.
What are the factors that go into that, though? You know, obviously, it's a decision that has to be made in the next couple of days. I can't imagine it'd be a 4-hour discussion to get there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a discussion we have to have. We're not ready to get there yet, so we'll have it in a couple days.
Matt, with Riley Reef, I mean, you had him starting at right tackle for a while, and then he's with the twos today at left tackle. Do you think he's better suited for this offense in a swing tackle role than starting?
Yeah, we'll let that play out. We'll see where it is. Yeah, we'll see where it is with him. We're working through that with the offensive line. You know, it's been a lot of pieces to the puzzle. We'll see where that goes.
For Borum, though, getting a chance to start at right tackle the other day and staying with the ones, what has he done to show you that he can sustain that role?
Yeah, he's been consistent. You know, he's been relatively consistent, and he's doing a good job in there. Right now, he's in that position as the starter, and he's got competition behind him, and we'll see what happens. You know, see if he can sustain that execution all the way through.
What does Roquan need to do in practice?
At the will spot to get comfortable there. I don't think he's played in a team period since you made him officially.
Yeah, it's just about experience, getting the experience in that spot, in that role. I mean, that's a hot spot, so he'll have a lot of action in there. So, and again, I think you'll enjoy it.
Alan was saying that the vision, or the way players come into his vision is different than when you're playing in the middle in a 3-4.
Yeah.
What does he need to look for? How do you best explain the difference between what he used to be looking at and what he's got to look at?
Yeah, this is a lot of linebackers have asked me because we made this transition from 3-4 to 4-3 over the years, and they've always asked me, "What's the biggest difference, Coach? How can I play in a 3-4 and all of a sudden go to a 4-3?" And the simplistic way of saying it, the easy way of saying it, is that they play off the D-line in front of them, whereas in a 3-4 they're more catch. And you got to take on guards and you got to take on fullbacks, where this is a hit and run position. So you're playing off the defensive lineman in front of you. Once you learn that and how to play that way, you'll be pretty good at it.
You can learn that in practice.
Yes, you can. Yep, that's the best way to do it.